Lori here. I'm back. Today has just been a bizarre day. Just been a weird day. It is August 3rd. We are heading into the last dog days of summer. I go back to work officially on Thursday, unofficially on Tuesday because I have to get some work done before I go back to school. So I am just going to soak up the weekend, Monday, and Wednesday, and just sort of enjoy it because I know it's gonna get nuts. If you haven't seen my TBR video, I am participating in 3 different readathons. So they all have widely different books that I have to read. But I was running out the door. I had to go get my flu shot, and I also had to go and go get my nails done and my toes done, my eyebrows done. So I just picked a random book, and I picked up Vox by Christina Delacher. This book is so frightening. I remember when I read Handmaid's Tale in college, that scared me. This book is terrifying. It is so scary. And it's like a dystopian. It's just alarming. I'm reading this book and I'm very, very alarmed. I'll say that. Right off the bat, I'm only 37 pages into this book and I'm alarmed. I'm also reading this as I'm listening to The Witnesses War Red, which is a takedown of the polygamous sect of Warren Jeff. These 2 books are eerily linked. I haven't said anything about this book, but this book follows a society where women are no longer allowed to say more than 100 words a day. Highly alarming, and it is just so scary. I've read about 30 pages, and I'm just oh my goodness, I feel like I want to jump into this book, and I feel a lot. This book is making me feel a lot of emotions. It's been a bit since I felt this many emotions in a read. So, I've only read about 37 pages, but it's very, very captivating. My friend Tiffany actually recommended it for me. She actually made me buy it. Well, not maybe. She recommended I buy it when we were in the city book shopping a couple of weeks back for my birthday. So this will be the first book for the TBR and Beyond Reading Challenge. Back to school. One of the days will start with a friend recommended read. So I'm going to pick this one up and hope. So far, I'm really liking it. I'm deeply alarmed though. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to watch tonight. The Billie Eilish concert special came out. I may watch that. I don't know. I just have so much stuff to do this weekend. It's going to be a very, very chaotic, not really chaotic weekend, but I want to just enjoy my last weekend off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go read a little bit more of this. When I get up to page 50, 70, I'll probably give you guys a quick update, but sorry for the long-winded update. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. This will probably be a weekend to more reading vlog. Maybe I'll end it on Tuesday. We'll see. We'll see how much content I have. If I read a lot this weekend, this will probably be a weekend reading vlog. If I read a little bit less and don't update as much, probably be a longer one. But I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. Here I'm back. It's about 8:28. Everyone waking up. I worked out a little bit. I didn't get my flu shot yesterday, so I'm probably going to take it a little bit easier today. But I did wind up reading about 55 pages in Box. This book is super interesting. I said that before, but basically in this society, which is set somewhat in the future, I would say women only can say 100 words, and they're basically in deference to their men. They don't really have a life, which is so sad and so heartbreaking. But you follow this main character named Jean, and she was a doctor before all this happened. And the president's brother has a condition that only she can solve. So she has to sort of work with the government to save his life, and it's super compelling. You also see flashbacks to how we got to this place. It's a really, really gut-wrenching read. The book makes me so angry. I want to toss the book across the room, but that's the sort of the point of it. But it is a very, very fast-paced read. I want to keep reading, which is really, really good. I'm really intrigued to see what happens. I've heard really good things about this book, so it's been said the modern day Handmaid's Tale, which I definitely can see. I read that when I was in college, but I'm going to read a little bit more, and when I get up to page 100, I'll probably give you guys another check-in. Bye, friends. Here, sorry for the glare, but I am sitting outside and just trying to enjoy the nice weather because I know eventually it's just going to vanish. But I did wind up reading about 123 pages in Box. This book makes me so incredibly angry, but I can also see it become not hopefully never becomes a reality, but the ways it's implemented how women lose just about all their rights, men are put in the possession of them, is just very like jarring. Especially in the world that we live in the past couple of years, it's a very, very jarring read. But I really like the main character quite a bit, and I think at the end of the day, she really just wants to protect her daughter. Um, so I really am liking it. It's just a very, very hard read, especially the relationship she has with her older son. It's like a very, very gut wrenching relationship. But it's very, very compelling. So I'm gonna keep reading, and I'll update you guys. But I'm also watching Good Trouble. We got to see all the Fosters again, except for one character, but I was really happy to see them. So I'm going to go back to watching it, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page 150, maybe a little bit more. Friends. It's a little bit later. It's almost 4 o'clock. I wound up going to a walk. I listened to a little bit more of the Witnesses War Read, which has to do with the LDS cult and the takedown of the polygamy sect. That's a very interesting read to read, sort of in contrast with Vox, because like they all deal with the the topic of like women not being in power, and I think it's very interesting. This book is like very interesting, super compelling. It's probably like the most interesting dystopian book I've read, and there is like a medical twist because she's trying to like solve the president's brother's medical condition, but she's still like subservient in every single way, and it's just really fascinating to see how everyone is affected by this, like her husband and then her kids. It's a very fast. It's just very, very fascinating. So I'm gonna read a little bit more when I get up to like 250. I'll probably give you guys another update, but I don't want to put this book down. Like that's really how I feel. It's very, very fascinating. I'm really, really enjoying it, and sadly, it's horrifying and it's just you could see how a culture could get to this point, and it's scary. But I really am liking it. I like her writing style quite a bit, but definitely a modern, like a different, it will definitely be compared to The Handmaid's Tale, but I'm really enjoying it. I really do like it. A quick check-in. I did wind up getting up to page 260 inbox. Really fascinating read. It definitely went in a direction I was sort of not expecting, but it's really fascinating. I think the characters have also grown so much, and this book is not that long. It's like it's like a little bit over 300 pages, but the main character and all the characters have sort of grown so much. The world is really fascinating. The importance of just a lot of topics in here is very, very interesting. Like women's rights are a major focus of it. I'm really liking it. I'm curious to see where it's going to go at the very, very end. I have about like 100 pages left, so I'm going to probably get to page 300, and then I'll give you guys my final thought, like my predictions maybe. But really, really liking this. So happy that my friend recommended it. This is book 1 for the TBR and Beyond reading challenge. But yeah, I'm really, really liking it. It's a very, very fast-paced, very, very digestible thriller, with political stuff, but also like sciencey stuff as well. But I think it's very, very digestible, and I'm really, really liking it. So I'll give you guys another update when I read about 50 more pages, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hello, here I'm back. It's about 7 o'clock. I did just finish Vox, by Kristen Delachar. I really enjoy this book. I'd probably give this book like 4.5 stars for review. I thought it was great, really intriguing, fascinating. I loved it. I thought it was, I'll say love. I thought it was a very interesting book, very impactful. I'll be thinking about this book for quite a bit of time. I thought it was just a really strong read, and one that I really, really liked. So I'd probably give this book 4 stars. Definitely not what I normally read. My friend Tiffany did recommend this to me, but it was a fast paced thriller, dystopian, but in a way that like I felt this book could be seen as super realistic, a little bit scary at moments, but just to see how women can be really broken down until they can't even speak was really like a very, very interesting take of a story. I also thought that there was so many morally gray characters in this story, and you could easily see how the government can influence people. So I would give this book 4 stars for review. So I'm going to try to be better at reading my e-arcs. So I have my arc of all my e-arcs, and I'm going to choose one and see what one gets chosen. Ow. I'm trying to find an e-arc. Some of these are not e-arcs. Some of these are just like random prompts. Let's see. Sorry, there's going to be like all the prompts that I don't need. Oh, I'm going to pick up Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. So this will be the next book I pick up. It is an arc that comes out in October. This is from the author that wrote Merciful Crow, I think. And I got an e-arc of this. So I'm going to go start it, and I'll probably give you guys an update as I read a little bit more. My goal is to listen to the Novice Live show for the Magical Readathon, which this book does count for. So I will talk to you guys when I read a little bit more of The Little Thief. Bye, friends. Right here, I just want to do a quick update. Last night, I did want to finishing Vox by Christina Dalachar. I really did like this book. It was a very, very quick, fast-paced read. I read most of this book yesterday. It was a very engaging thriller. Also, like, sometimes when I read dystopian novels, I struggle to see the reality of it. This one, I think, was so based in reality. Like, I could really see how a country could get to this point where women are only allowed to speak 100 words a day. It was very, very alarming, but it was also filled of morally gray characters, and you could really see how a year in this oppressive system could change not only adults but also kids. And I think seeing what this system did to her kids was incredibly heartbreaking. And seeing the relationships between her husband and other people and how isolated she really, really was. It was a very, very alarming read, but I really enjoyed it. I definitely really liked it. There's a couple of other books that I would love to check out in the future. This is a book that my best friend one of my friends, Tiffany, recommended. So really, really, really liked it. Would definitely give it like 4.5 stars for review. It was a very, very solid read, and probably one of the best dystopian novels I've read in quite a long time. So I'm gonna choose another book from my jar. I am still on summer break until Wednesday, and I'm gonna do a 24-hour reading vlog on Wednesday. So I'm gonna try to pick a smaller book. I know Little Thieves is hiding in here, and I'm probably gonna save that for later in the month when I'm actually commuting back and forth. And some of these are not reading prompts. They're not books, but some of them are. Yeah, some of these are not. I have to find one that's like an actual prompt. All right. I'm gonna pick up Keeper of the Night, which is it's set in China, I think, and I think if I remember, I think this one's set in Japan. So I'm gonna read the first like 50, maybe like the first couple of chapters, and then I'll report them. But I am gonna start Keeper of the Night. I've had this book on my TBR for a very, very long time, so I'm excited to start it. And I will check in with you guys when I read a little bit more of it. But yeah, this is the one that I wanted to read last month, and I got a little bit distracted. So I'm actually excited to start this one. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. I'm going to do a quick update. It's almost 1:30. I just want to finishing my nonfiction read, The Witnesses War Red, which is the behind-the-scene look at the FDLS trial following a former sister wife, which I thought was very, very interesting. It did actually knock some boxes off one of my boards, which is really, really helpful for the Avengers readathon. I did start reading The Keeper of the Night, but I don't feel I've only read like a chapter, but this part is set in British. There are these things called they basically suck souls from people, and they like end their lives. But there's different sects, so they're in British, so there's certain powers that those have. And then they sort of like the different environments you live in, the different powers you have, but the powers this main character has isn't the powers she should have. So I only read a chapter. I don't feel comfortable enough talking about it, but I am really, really liking it. I'm also going to try to sit outside, and hopefully the rain doesn't get me. But yeah, so I'm gonna read a little bit more. I'll probably read about like 2 to 3 more chapters, and then I'll come in and check in with you guys. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. It's about 2:31. I think I'm going to go inside and scrapbook because I haven't scrapbooked for the past couple of days. And I would like to sort of wrap up some projects before the school year starts because I'm going to start Christmas crafting. But I did wind up getting up to chapter 4 in The Keeper of the Night, and I think I could talk about it now. But you're basically following this character named Ren, and she is a Reaper. And a Reaper takes souls from people and ends their lives. She also has time magic where she can stop time. But she is a Shinganji that is a Japanese Shinganji, which she currently, or Japanese Reaper. but she lives in England and she's Japanese, and they have different powers that make her a little bit isolated, I'll say. But when something happens, she winds up doing something with her Japanese power, like her powers that have to do with light, that gets her in a dangerous situation. So she has to run away, basically. And her younger half brother, decides to come with her, and that's where we are in the book right now. I really am liking it right off the bat. I love the relationship between her and her brother. I think it's very, very sweet. He's a very, very sweet character. I really am liking it quite a bit. It's a very, very engaging read right off the bat. It's a little bit slow start, I will say that. But I'm about 14% into it, and I am really, really liking it. So I'm gonna go scrapbook for a little bit, and then I will probably do like my wrapping up of the week, because this week I'm heading back to work. The plan for this week is on Tuesday through Wednesday, I'm going to do a 24-hour reading vlog, which I'll definitely film that later, but I have like 2 days to sort of film in the interim. So I'm going to go scrapbook a little bit and sort of get myself ready for the week, and I'll talk to you guys when I'm ready to start reading. Bye, friends. Here, I'm back. It's about 9 o'clock. I did wind up doing all my R&D stuff this morning. I'm actually pretty far into my How to Change Everything by Naomi Klein. This is my nonfiction book. I've been reading pretty much the second half of the summer. I hope to finish this tomorrow and then start a different one. My goal was to finish 2 nonfictions during the summer, during my early morning reading, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to finish this, which is actually super exciting. So this is the one that I've been reading. I also did make some more progress on Keeper of the Night last night, The Keeper of the Night, and I'm growing to really enjoy that book. I actually did read a summary, which I don't normally do. Like, I don't read a whole summary in books, but felt like I was a little bit confused. So she's basically looking for the Japanese god of death, because in England she worked for the British god of death, and that is how she became a reaper, but she is also half Japanese. So her and her brother are sort of hunting for this Japanese god of death, and they have to go through all of these trials and encounter all of these Japanese creatures. It's really, really fun now that I know that that's where the book is heading. I'm really liking that so far. So I have to film a couple of videos today. This is like my real last day off, so I have a little bit of time. I'm going to film a couple of videos. I'm going to do my Owl Crate unboxing, and then I'm just going to read. Hopefully the weather holds out and I can sit outside a little bit and finish watching Good Trouble and read a little more of Keeper of the Night. My goal is, once I'm done with Keeper of the Night, to do like a 48-hour reading vlog, which I will probably start later, but I do hope to finish that book today. So I'm going to go do my unboxing, and I'll talk to you guys when I'm ready to start reading. Bye, friends. It is about 11:16. I just got home from my bike ride. I did wind up, I have started a Harry Potter reread earlier in the summer, and now that I'm actually heading back to work, I will have a little bit more listening time in the morning. Like, I normally listen to a podcast when I commute in the morning, just so it's a little bit easier than focusing on an audiobook, because I have to wake up really early. So I am going to add that to and I've also listened to Harry Potter like 1,000 different times. So that is what I started listening to. I also picked up the audiobook I Will Always Write Back, which is a nonfiction book that I've been dying to re-listen to, and I'm probably going to listen to a majority of that tomorrow when I'm prepping to go back to work. I have a bunch of stuff I have to do tomorrow that I've been putting off all summer, hoping that we would have more information about the next school year. We still don't really have a lot of information, but at this point I know that there is some stuff I have to do at home that I can't do at school because our internet is not the best. So that's my plan for tomorrow. I'm also going to keep reading The Keeper of the Night. I'm really liking it so far, so I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to watch an episode of Good Trouble, and my goal is to finish this book today. That is my goal. I have about 5 hours left. I think it's definitely doable. I'll update you guys when I read a couple more chapters. Back in, I did wind up watching another episode of Good Trouble. I did wind up getting up to 44% into The Keeper of the Night. This book is definitely becoming a little bit more mythology based, and I'm really, really liking it. There's also a quest involved. We have a very small cast of characters, but I like all the characters in this story, so I'm actually okay with that. I really do like the world building. I like the expansion of Japanese mythology. I really like the main character. I like all the side characters. There is a couple of plot points in the future that I think I can sort of predict. I'll be curious to see if I'm totally wrong at the very, very end. I have one plot point that's kind of been hinted at that I'm curious to see if I have predicted it or not. But other than that, I'm really, really liking it. So I'm gonna read a little bit more, maybe watch one more episode of Good Trouble, and when I get up to 50% in, I'll definitely update you guys, because once I get past 50% in an ebook, I tend to read it a little bit more quickly. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, friends. About 2:32, I did wind up getting up to 50% done in The Keeper of the Night. Really am enjoying this book. Again, it's very much like a quest type story. And again, like sort of when I read Tokyo with Love and Tokyo Ever After, they really are delving into almost the lack of identity Japanese Americans or Japanese people have if they are not from Japan. That has been a conversation that has been seen in multiple Japanese, like books written by Japanese authors or books that involve Japanese culture. And it's just a really interesting dynamic, and I really am liking the characters in this. They have some of my favorite tropes. I really like the brother and sister roles in this, but I also like that it's a very, very quick moving story. It reminds me a little bit of when I read Unravel the Dusk or Luminous recently. Like, the setting changes so dramatically, so you really get to see the characters in different environments. There also was an element that reminded me a little bit of Frozen, which I really did like. But yeah, I'm going to go for a walk. I have a podcast I have to listen to, and I have to charge my devices because I would like to stay outside as long as I can tonight. So I'm going to go do that, charge my Kindle, charge my computer, and go listen to a podcast, and I'll come back when I have read a little bit more of The Keeper of the Night. Right now I'm on chapter 13, and I'm about 3 hours left, and I'm about 55% in, but I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Sorry, here, I'm back. I did wind up, scrapbooking and doing a few little errandy things, but I am going to go back to reading. When I left you, I didn't read anything since I left you, but I just wanted to do a little bit of an update before I start reading again. I'm 54% in to Keeper of the Night. I'm on chapter 13, so I'm going to make some progress. I'm also midway through my episodes of Good Trouble. My goal was to finish it by tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's my goal. But I'm going to read a little bit more of The Keeper of the Night, and I'll report back when I read a couple more chapters. It's a little bit later. It's about 8:30. This is like my last day to really stay up later, because I have to start easing myself back into a schedule to wake up early. Because on school days when when I don't teach from home, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna try to stay up a little bit later today, see if it works. But I have about 2 hours left in my book, so that's a little bit motivation to stay up. Really, I'm liking this book. It's very, very much structured like a Percy Jackson quest with a very, very small cast of characters. But unlike previous books I've read in the past couple of years, this cast of characters I really do like. I think the dynamics between her and her brother are really interesting, and I'm liking that. I think the development of all the myths are really interesting. The focus on the Japanese culture stuff is very, very interesting and fun. I don't know if this is a standalone or a series. I'll probably get that information as we go on. There are a couple of little things that I'm curious how they're going to turn out. One of my predictions is definitely false, which is interesting. But I will talk to you guys when I have about an hour left, if I'm still awake. Bye, friends. Here, I did wind up getting up to an hour and 19 minutes left. I'll definitely finish the book tomorrow. I just can't read that late, unfortunately, but I am going to try to stay up a little bit later and watch some TV shows, maybe watch a few episodes of Schitt's Creek. We will see. I'll definitely update you guys tomorrow when I wake up. I might read in the morning. I'm definitely planning on finishing my to work out and do a couple of other things. I have to go to physical therapy. Tomorrow's my big day where I'm gonna plan a bunch of stuff and probably sit outside all day if the weather cooperates. But hopefully early tomorrow I can finish this read, and then I can start my 48-hour reading vlog. I'll talk to you guys up for tomorrow, friends. Bye. Lori here, just checking back in. It's about 8:46. I have about 48 minutes left in my book. I got up to page 21. We're at the tail end of the story. I really am liking all the characters. I think the world building is super fun. I'm loving the focus on Japanese mythology. And we're getting to the very, very end. There is some parts of this book that I think are a little bit confusing. I think some of the plot points could be tightened up a little bit and clarified a little bit. But it is an arc, so I have belief that maybe in the final printing this will be rectified. But overall, I really do like the characters, and I'm definitely going to be checking out book 2 because I did find out it will probably be a series. I'm going to go read a little bit more, then I'm going to head to yoga, and when I come back, I'll check in with you guys. and probably talk about the rest of my day, but I am going to start another reading vlog tonight. So, but my goal is to finish this book before I start all my school stuff for the day. So, bye friends. Here, I'm back. I did actually, it's about 5:14. I did wind up spending most of the whole day prepping for school. Like, I had to go through all of my Google Classroom stuff and sort of update all my Google Docs. That is primarily the platform we're going to be using this year until I hear otherwise. I also, you know what they say, what they say when you want to make God laugh, all you have to do is tell him your plan. So I planned my whole year in theory. I don't even know like who I'm teaching or how many times a week I'm teaching them, but I planned it out so like I know like do I have to spend any amount of time making more curriculum? I don't think I do. I have 2 funner units that I would like to do, so maybe I will add those to my planning doc if I have a little bit of time before the stuff gets crazy. But for the most part, I have finished planning. So before that happened, I wound up walking up to town and I was able to finish The Keeper of the Night. I really did like that book towards the very, very end. I thought it was very, very great. There was some pacing issues with that book, but for me, the heart of that story was always the relationship between the main character and her brother, because I thought that was a really interesting dynamic. I love the Japanese mythology elements that were featured. It was a super engaging read and I just really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be checking out the sequel. I don't think it comes out until like October, but definitely check it out, especially if you're looking for something with like Japanese culture. And I will admit the main character grew on me as the story went on, and then there was a point where she really made me angry, but by the end I'm on her side again, so I'm curious to see where book 2 will go. But in this reading vlog, I did wind up finishing Vox and Keeper of the Night. So tomorrow is my last day off, so I'm going to do 24 hours of reading. I'm going to read from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock tomorrow. That's my goal. So I am going to go get ready for that, or maybe 5:30. We'll see. Probably 6. I'll probably read to 6, 5, like, 5:30 or something. But I'll talk about that in my next reading vlog. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, friends.